Good evening, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm so happy that we are having our second Facebook Live, and I would like to thank you for joining me tonight. So I hope that you are having a very good celebration. I hope that you are feeling all the love because you deserve it. And it's not only in a Valentine's Day that we should feel the love and give love in return, right? So, for those of you that are already online, my name is Irish, and I am the social media coach for Filipino Virtual Assistants, or FVA Visayas. So for those of you that are tuning in, please feel free to send in your highs and hellos in the comment section. So I see that we have here Joshin Manalili. Good evening. Happy Valentine's. Feel free to tell me where you are right now so that I can mention where's your location. Before we start, let me just give some announcements. So for those who have been following my page, I think you are aware that I have already started my first batch of the social media in-depth course, and there are 15 of them. So hello, wherever you are right now. I hope you are tuning in, or if you are not, I hope you are all okay with the application assignments and learning a lot. And we are already opening our second batch. My second batch will start on March 4. So one person told me, and I totally agree, which I believe you also agree. In 2021, we have to practice social distancing. However, we should not distance ourselves from social media because it will cost your business. And I totally agree with that. Happy Valentine's Day to my mother. She's watching right now. And yes, Jocelyn Manalili is from Punta Princesa, Cebu City. Hi, we are very near. Yes, it's only less than what? 3 kilometers where I am. So, may gabi ni mo din ha. So, yeah, hopefully there will be more people coming in. So, we are actually very much on time. So, for those that have just tuned in, you are not yet very late. Am I audible? Can I just, what do you call this? Have your confirmation if you can hear me. I've been talking here, but can you hear me all? Yeah, I think I am. Yes. Okay, hold on. So tonight, our topic, if first Facebook Live was about going live with confidence, which I also need to have that, this evening is very important, especially for those who are aspiring social media managers and social media marketers. It is very important for us to understand that, okay, thank you so much, Joyce, for confirming that I am audible. So it's very important for us to create good copies to our clients. Now, these copies is basically the post that will complement together with the photos, the videos that we provide for the social media accounts of our clients. And for those those professionals and those businessmen and women who are on top of their social media accounts, It's also very good if you have your own assistants, your own virtual assistants. It's good that you will be on top. So it's good also to realize how copies are very important, wherein that's the very topic that we are going to have tonight. So it's about how writing has evolved in the social media age. I started as a writer. I'm a journalism graduate, so I started my career in one of the newspaper companies in Cebu City. So I totally understand if what do you call this? What a good foundation it is to have, especially for any content there is. So without much further ado, okay, Clavel Balongkit, she's asking if there is a replay. This will actually be saved here in my social, in my Facebook page, so you can actually check it. There's no problem. And I'm also going to migrate this one soon to my YouTube page, so watch out for that one. Yes, so you can definitely watch if ever your internet is not that good. So for our, oh, by the way, we will have a question and answer later on. So feel free to reserve your questions later. And please also, just anytime that you can come in, tell me where you are, because I will definitely acknowledge you. And if you want me to greet someone, to read their names, to greet them Happy Valentine's, feel free to do so. So, okay, without much further ado, I would like to introduce a very special guest. So this guest he is very talented. He is talented in music. He's also very talented when it comes to writing. That's why I really, what do you call this? His top of mind when it comes to this topic. And I'm so happy that even for a short time, he said yes to my invitation. And I hope that I am not a bother to his Valentine's Day tonight. So thank you so much to this guy. So who is this? Who is my guest tonight? So for those who were studying in UFJR and CITU, you probably know him because he was a former journalism instructor. He is also the section editor of SunStar Cebu. And for those who have heard of Best of Cebu, he is in charge of events and promotions. And also for those who have heard the homegrown band Bethany, he is not just a singer, but also a songwriter. So this man is totally the package. So friends, please, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so that you can see his face. So please help me welcome Luis Quibranza III. Hi, June.
Hi guys. Hi Irish. Thank you for having me. Am I online?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. You are online, yes?
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
I feel privileged to be invited as one of your guests.
Thank you so much for that. I'm so happy that you really said yes to my invitation. I know this is, what do you call this? Short notice.
No problem at all. I do it for my friend Irish. But
That's
seriously, the topic is very close to my heart, and I would love to share whatever it is that I know about the field, and hopefully it could also help others, and
exactly.
that makes me happy.
Yes, I hope actually I was inviting some college students, if I'm not mistaken, they are from Cebu Normal University.
Mm.
So I hope that she's tuned in right now. because she is a mass comm. Yeah, I think I mentioned that she's a mass comm student. But yeah, so this will be a very good help for her and her classmates. Okay, so again, for those who are already tuned in, feel free to send in your questions. You can actually start shooting them because I can just read them, and Luis here can also read the questions. So, okay, I think I'll start now, Luis, by asking, can you tell me about your, how did you start your writing career?
Well, writing has been close to my heart ever since I was in high school.
Okay.
It was it, it was an unusual situation because I studied in a technical high school where they taught mostly technical subjects, vocational subjects like something that would complement higher education programs and courses like engineering and architecture. On the other hand, I found myself into writing, so I took up mass communications. I thought, why not? Well, my parents actually helped me with the decision. They saw that I enjoyed writing, so they prodded me to hone my skill. I was able to do so, and not just in college, but before college, I also involved myself in writing projects, a few articles here and there, some a very few poetry and little poetry, and as you mentioned in the introduction, I have a band, so I also write songs, and it's been years now. So I just keep writing and writing, and that's the story for me.
Yeah, we've known each other for many years already, and I've seen you basically when you were in high school, when you were in college, because we also went to the same college, and
Yes.
also when you were already having your internship. I
Yes.
think it was also in SunStar when you had your internship until they absorbed you, right?
Yes, that's a good. I forgot about that. So I had my internship in SunStar. I was fourth. I was senior. I was in my senior year in college, and I enjoyed internship so much. And thankfully, they did. They also enjoyed having me there. So they invited me to be a part of the company, and I've been with SunStar ever since 2009.
Oh, so
2008. 2008.
2008. So it's
2008.
been more than 10 years already that you're with SunStar.
Yes, more than 10 years, and I spent practically half of my time there as writer and the other half as editor.
Okay, so you're definitely an expert already in the field of writing because it's been more than 10 years that you've been in this field.
I wouldn't say that. I have the great
So
privilege
humble
of,
of you.
no, no, seriously, I had the great privilege of working under the best in the industry. Names like Sol
People.
Diamante, Michelle So, Cherry Lynn, Nimi
Yeah,
Caballero.
yeah,
My
true.
mentors are really are on another level. But I did learn, and thank God for these guys, girls,
The
ladies.
pillars of Cebu journalism,
Yes, yes.
right? Okay. Now, thank you for that giving us an overview of how you started and what you're doing now. So, um, how was it writing with the social media platforms that were not popular yet? Were
Uh,
there differences?
Yeah, definitely. It's funny that you brought it up because when I started writing, social media
Hmm?
wasn't a thing. My first exposure probably would be MySpace and Friendster. Those are social
Ah,
media
right,
sites,
right.
right? Sort of. So
Yes,
there
yes,
wasn't
yes. Those are social media platforms,
there
right?
wasn't much writing involved. So if we're talking about writing per se,
Uh,
I as I could recall, writing took on a more traditional form. It's what we've been taught usually in high school, where you start with an intro, you come up with a good body, and then you end it well. Very very traditional. That's how it started for me. And then of course when social media experienced a boom in the mid probably 2005s and 6 for line, and I guess around 2007 or something. Uh, Writing had to evolve, uh, and yes, you're right. Writing, the industry that I'm I'm in, media industry basically, had to adapt new ways, have to reach audiences in the online with on the online market as well as the print market. So yeah, the two ways of writing are similar. They have the same information, but they are delivered differently because as a writer, as a publication, you have to understand that the markets, the audiences in both markets consume this information in a different way. So, yeah.
Mhm. Mm, okay, okay. And how about now?
Hmm.
Because as you mentioned earlier, the social media sites, Friendster, Multiply, MySpace, they were probably just for personal use and not for business.
Right, right. Oh,
They were all
and,
just for our personal consumption. But now, yeah, you want to say something?
yeah, no, because
I think that there's like some interruption with.
the internet, is it good? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So you're right. It's different because when we started social media, it was it was for personal consumption use, and then it evolved into, especially Facebook. Let's not go far. Facebook has been a very lucrative source for businesses.
Mm-hmm,
In fact,
exactly.
it's become a challenge for the traditional ways of placing ads because in Facebook, you
Uh-huh.
can post a caption for free. And if you're good at it, if you have a good picture to go with it, then it is just as effective as placing an ad in the radio, in the TV, or on print. So writing changed, and dive if I could if I could tackle this a bit, um, I guess what is important first is, of course, the technicals are a given, grammar and spelling. That's let's presume that this is already a this is already
Foundation.
yeah, foundation, yeah. Um, After that, let's just presume that you write in the traditional sense. First things first, it has to be short. That's something that we've been taught,
Mhm.
and something that I also shared with my students.
Brevity.
Brevity is key. So it's also an art form because sometimes you think, oh, I want to write longer pieces and explain more. Well, there's a place for that. But when it comes to social media, if you can pull it off, sharing as much information as you can in such a way that captures the audience's attention, then you've already done your job. And brevity is key. Specifically for social media, it's a little different again. Writing for web, for your company's website, perhaps.
Publication.
Yeah, and then yeah, and so social media, of course, short, okay, sure. But then you also have to figure out your audience. One thing I learned recently, because I've exposed myself recently to other jobs that work. How do you call it? I guess they're like a remote
Content
work.
writer.
Yeah, content writer, and there's
Ah,
the yeah. You have to figure out if you're writing B2B, business to business, or B2C, business to customer, because but that's like a general rule. However, it depends on your brand. If there are any people watching here who are business owners or entrepreneurs, and you're trying to think what you want for your brand when it comes to your copy, you have to decide
mhm,
as if how you want to approach it.
mhm, mhm.
There's no fixed rule, but there are guidelines. And for instance, everybody's familiar with Angkas, right? So Angkas is they're
Yeah,
a big
definitely.
they're they're a big corporate. I mean, they're a corporation, but they treat their material so millennial, so Generation Z, and they 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 go away with the formalities and they just speak to the customer directly. They treat it as like they treat Uncast like a personality. They don't treat it as a company. So, sure, brevity is key. Sure, knowing your audience is key, but it also pays to be defined as a brand. Like you know what you want, and you stick to it. And it also it's not just what you want as a brand; it's also what fits for your brand. Uh, uh, like for instance, you work for a medicine company talking about vaccines and all that. You can't be as uh, animated as Angkas. You have to strike a degree of formality. You have to strike a degree of credibility because what you are promoting, what you are sharing to the public demands not a tinge. It demands great responsibility and credibility. So voice matters, brevity matters, uh,
Brevity,
information.
yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing
And
your audience.
yes, yes. I'm just babbling here. I hope
Now,
that's okay.
yeah, I mean, we can go, what do you call this, just to review also, because you gave a lot of inputs, especially for those that, because actually, before this live, if I'm not mistaken, it was yesterday, we have in Filipino virtual assistants, we have this group about we have a lot of Facebook groups. It depends on the course where the student has enrolled. So we have this specific group, which is the social media graduates and the students. So I made a call wherein how confident are they in terms of writing copies to their clients? Now, there were like three options that I gave, and majority of them answered, I need more training on copywriting. Yes. The last check that I had, it's the top most, and then the second was like they're in the middle. They're not that bad, but at the same time, they're not too confident. But I would just like to zero into the needs, especially that. I mean, every day. Let's face it. I'm sure you go to social media every day, right? And
Yes,
me
yes.
too. I do business in social media. As a real estate broker, I've closed deals in social media. It's a good lead generation tool for me as a real estate broker. And I'm sure all the other realtors would agree to me on that aspect and even to other industries as well. But, not every person, Luis, cannot really have that good command of writing. Now, okay, we have a lot right now of tools online, tools,
Okay.
application tools like
Yes.
Grammarly. It's free, although if you want to have more features, then you buy, I mean, you pay for a subscription. As an editor, do you use, and if it's okay to
No,
ask
wait, wait.
other notes?
It's funny. This is funny because
Yeah.
I was applying for a sideline, and for the great. So I've been working with media for over 10 years, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So in my 10 years, I started writing and editing without Grammarly, and then it was just this year
Yeah.
where somebody told me about it. Like, oh, actually, there's a tool for that. Yeah, just this
Seriously?
year.
Oh,
It's
okay.
no, sorry, last year, 2020.
Okay, okay, okay. All right.
So like, oh right. So when I tried using it, my job just became so easy. So I recommend Grammarly. Sure, use it. Tools are good, but you also have to have a mastery of the subject uh, before and after. Grammarly is just a tool, but what what gets published, you still have responsibility over it. You don't give the machine, don't give the software responsibility. It has to be your responsibility. So, your knowledge of the subject still matters.
Okay. You mentioned about knowing the mastery.
Yes,
Um, okay.
we can.
For yeah.
Yeah. we can if I may share so there are different levels, right? So let's say you're starting from stage one, level one, and you're just new to this, and you want to make a mark. Um, you could if you devote time to your job can actually be both your career and your learning experience.
Mm,
So
I agree with
every
that.
so with every copy that is requested from you as a writer, if you take it seriously, you're supposed to get better with every article that gets published. Better not only in writing the material, but better in understanding what your company is, right? So, for instance, I mean, okay, so we are all writers, and then we get we are told to write something about medicine.
Okay,
Now, who among us are experts? Maybe the nurses, the
doctor.
doctors may probably know, but
Yeah,
for most of us, we have to start from scratch, right?
yeah.
So,
That,
sige. So first, you make it a career, you do it, you write it, and then learning experience. You ask your if you have a communications lead, if you have an editor, or so you ask them. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and then you can also this is not plagiarism, but uh, check for references online. Check,
okay.
yeah, check for references, templates. Those help. But personally, my tip: I don't copy paste. Copy pasting it, there's a big chance that when you rewrite it, it's still going to end up more or less the same way. But just read it, get a feel for it, and then write it. Now,
Repurposed.
repurpose. And sometimes, especially it happens to the best of us. So even if you're a beginner or if you're a professional, there are times when you just stare at the computer and you don't know what to write. You're like, how do I start? What do I write about? Um,
Writer's block.
writer's block. So one tip that
Been
really
there,
helped
done that.
one tip that really helped me came from a movie. It's called Finding Forrester, starring Sean Connery. And there was this part there that said, write with your heart and rewrite with your head. So don't
Say that again. Sorry. Right.
write with your write with your heart and
Heart.
rewrite with your head.
Okay.
So that means don't overthink. So okay, you're given an assignment. If you're good at it, go. If you're not so good at it, go. Just do it. And then
Right.
after you come up with a draft, you feel like if you can afford time, you can sleep on it. And then when you get back the next morning, oh, I want to cut this part. I want to make it shorter. I want to add, you you repurpose it after coming up with the draft. Sometimes you get so engrossed in writing the words that you don't begin and you're paralyzed.
Mm.
So yeah, so it doesn't matter as long as you have basic English, which most of us, if not all Filipinos, are blessed with.
Yeah,
It's not a
yeah.
problem. It's not
That's
a
true.
yeah. Filipinos have it better than some
Yeah.
citizens of the world. So you can just start basic. It doesn't have, and when it comes to business, you know, it depends on your brand, but you don't really have to be. You don't really have to write in a way to impress.
Mm.
The important
I'm
thing
guilty
is
of that sometimes, actually.
we all are. We need to be reminded of it. But what's important is the message. Are you selling something? Tell them what you're selling. What's the advantage? Tell them buy one take one, or there's a discount. Tell them just get the message across, and then leave it up to social media, which is in this case the copy, the writers just do 50% of the job. The other half belongs to the graphic team, the
Hmm.
digital marketing team, those responsible for the algorithms and the boosting and the photos themselves. They're very important.
Yeah, yeah. So that brings me to asking you, what is your thought on content is king? Because when we say content, this is like the overall already. It's not just the photo, it's not just the video, but also the copy, the post itself. So what is your thought? Can you share to us about content is king, because this is the rule of thumb for like every digital marketing there is out there.
Content is king. It's true, and it's like let's 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 think about it from a sales perspective, right?
But yes,
Okay, so let's say our content is a shoe. It's a running shoe. Content is king. Sure, the shoe matters. Okay, but then the shoe is an unknown brand. So no matter how this shoe is better than let's just mention a brand, Nike. Okay, let's toss Nike away. You're holding an unknown shoe. The shoe is very nice. Content is king. Now, you still have to figure out what's the surrounding environment, right? So the brand. Are we are we a young brand? You have to ask the right questions, and then who's gonna wear these shoes? Who's where are we sharing it on social media? After you figure out all those questions, you figure out the way how to deliver the message content to your to the buyers, to the readers. So yes, content is king. That's true. But sometimes we get too engrossed in the way of sticking to the rules or fundamentals or technicals that we forget the goal, which is to get the message across. So in this case, it's the shoe. Copywriters, it takes a whole team effort. So okay, so after you answered all those questions, let's say the final answer. Okay, let's say this is just I'm just exaggerating here, but let's say the final answer is okay. It's an unknown brand. We need to make it known. So let's not care about the technicals. Let's not talk about the foam. Let's not talk about the paint, the color, the thread. Let's just get the brand across. Okay, so what's the then regarding content, you decide. Oh, is it brand endorsement? Are you gonna get a celebrity to endorse it, or are you just gonna go with a meme? You know, because memes are very popular.
yeah,
Uncast does it a lot.
that's basically, yeah.
So let's just say you go with a meme. So automatically, it's funny. It's short. You know, it people read it, people engage with it, people share it. Not even aware of the brand, but the brand recognition is working. The mind share is already there. So after you, so for instance, you're gonna, if you're an old school producer, you're probably gonna be saying, what? A meme instead of a news article? But then if you compare both, uh, you know, this is just an example. But the point is, content is king. So therefore, you have to listen to your content. Like, don't force your way on the content. For instance, breaking news. There's a robbery.
Okay.
If news outlet ka, syempre, it's a very important news. No, everything goes along with it. Your graphic has to be red to connote like emergency.
Emergency,
The text has to be bold
bold,
letters. You know, stuff like that.
capitalized.
Yeah, yes. And then and then you write it not in a funny way, but in an informative where you answer the questions who,
Formal.
what, when, where, why. So the content is king. So you follow the king. You don't impose what you want on the king, right? So you ask yourself. So writers here, like, are you writing about medicine or education? Are you writing to sell? Do you have an online brand you want to push? Are you working for corporations? And then you follow through content. So, like what I said earlier, the basics are good, like spelling and grammar. Just get that done with. And Filipinos, most of us we have a good base.
Foundation.
Yes, and after that, you just go with it. Just listen to just be aware of what your brand is, of what your content needs, and just execute it.
Yeah, and just to add to what you said about Filipinos have a very good foundation of English, definitely, because I'm not sure if a lot of are aware of this, but in the freelancing world, the Philippines is actually number 3
Really?
Yes. Number three, in terms of providing freelancers to a lot of different clients from different industries.
It's good to know.
Yeah, but if you come to think about it, like most of, well, you've been a journalism instructor for how many years were you a journalism instructor?
1, 2, 3. Around 5 years.
Oh, okay, okay. That's still, a pretty good run. So, I don't know, during your time when you were teaching, if there were already like curriculum on how to bring your business online, how to be that kind of, writer.
When I mm, the closest thing I could remember was this
Because in my
course.
time there was not, definitely.
I'm fortunate enough to pursue a master's degree
Okay.
in media communications, and there was a, what you call this, promotions, a media promotions course, and the media
Oh.
promotions course touched a bit on that. However, it was not, social media wasn't that
Ah,
huge yet.
I
Yeah.
see. I
Yeah.
see.
So yeah, school must be pretty different these days. Communication
Yes.
courses must be very different. You know?
Well, I don't want to say thanks to, because we are still in the pandemic right now, and all of these things, the impact of the pandemic has, in a way, turned many industries upside down. And if we want to survive, we need to be relevant. And if we
Yes.
want to be relevant, we need to be here in social media because I've been doing a lot of, checking on statistics. I don't know if a lot of people are aware that June, we are almost 8 billion in the world,
Wow. Okay.
almost. And social media, active users of social media are more than 50% of the worldwide population.
Okay.
So the market is there. That's why for businesses, it is so important. And right now, a lot of things are going on in Facebook and Instagram. They're doing a lot of upgrades, new features, right? If you log into your Facebook account, you're like, where was this tab? This was here before.
Yes, they just had a new revision. I guess it was like in the last 3 months. They revised the Facebook user interface.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
and the pages app. It's now the business suite.
yes, exactly. And also
Yeah.
there's the creator studio
Yes.
wherein
Yes.
you can actually, for the social media marketers out there, that's where they can post. For example, what do you call this? Their posts for a home vacation, for example. So that's one of the good things there. Okay, and to end, this is my last question. By the way, for those that are tuned in, guys, feel free to ask questions to Mr. Luis here while he is still with us.
I'd be happy to answer them.
Yes, exactly. So please, guys, I hope you can shoot in your questions. Okay, now, what do you think is the direction of writing? Oh, by the way, Maurice, I think she's from Iloilo. She's watching right now. Hi, Mal.
Hi. Hi,
Yeah,
Maurice. Thanks for joining us tonight.
yeah. So, okay. So, what do you think, Luis, is the direction of writing now that we are in the social media age? And there seems to be no stop to this one.
So earlier we talked about content is king.
Yeah.
So let's wrapping it up. I can think of three things. Number one, get the foundation first, meaning you have the foundation. You know English, you speak it well, you write it well to a degree. You don't have to be an expert, but just get things, the basics right. After you get the basics right, content is king. Make sure make sure you're in tune with or with
The
what your
brand,
with the brand, with what your
product,
company.
service.
And then after those two things, the third thing is uh, being exposed to the market. Meaning, we're talking about social media, right?
Yes.
So the more time you spend in the market, the more time you spend in social media, the more you learn about how things are being done. Because if you take a step, if you're away
Backward.
from the market,
Uh-huh.
then you're
Ah,
not you can't compete with uh, competitors.
yes.
You have to know what's this like. Oh, are pictures the
Sure.
in thing right now? Are really long articles the in thing right now? Or you have to be in touch with the market. One thing I learned was pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
So to have a good feel of pop culture. That's like your feel for where the world is headed. The music that goes on, the books that are being promoted, the speakers right now, the popular speakers, the trends. Those are important.
You
So
know what? Yeah, okay, go
yeah,
ahead.
sorry.
I'll just
Because
go later, okay?
if you just do one and two, we can be replaced by robots. There are softwares right now, software applications right now that can write. I mean, you just input the details, and they are doing this with sports stories and weather reports,
Wow.
because these are statistical. Uh, right?
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah,
If
yeah.
if
And
writers,
somehow connect it with a certain like that gives out the data or metrics, and then they translate it into words.
yes.
Ah,
So the third aspect of being open to the world, to the market, because it gives your copy a voice, the voice that is your company's, the voice that is yours. And just like DNA and writing styles, um, we all have different approaches. We all have different styles. That's important. That makes us non-robotic. That makes us flexible.
humans.
Yes. Yeah, that makes us flexible. So it's important. The third aspect is important to compete with the future of computer applications,
So
softwares.
that we will not be replaceable. I like
Yes.
that. I like that. And oh yes, before I say what I wanted to say earlier, yes, Maurice says happy Valentine's. Happy
Valentine's.
Valentine's, Maurice. So happy Valentine's to all the others that are here but are not saying their highs or hellos. Feel free. And okay, when you said about pop culture,
Hmm.
the thing that came into mind is K-pop.
Right, right.
I am a big K-pop
Really?
K-drama fan. I am. I'm an army. Okay.
Okay.
When
I
you
get
said
I get the
DNA
reference.
earlier, when you said DNA earlier, my smile was like about ear to ear because that's one of their songs.
I don't listen to BTS, but I get the reference, and I guess that's what I'm trying to say. You don't have to be a fan of it. You don't have to listen, but at least at least you are aware, so that when you need to work, when you need to write stuff, you have
Very
to.
witty.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let's now open the floor to some questions. Guys, feel free while Luis, sorry, I actually
Yeah.
call him Junju, but yes,
Yeah.
he's Luis. Feel free to shoot in your answers, questions. You might want to ask him about love.
Valentine's special.
Valentine's special. Yes, he's actually my date tonight. Yeah, actually nakisingit lang ko, no? So, okay. Yeah, while we are waiting for some questions, I know that you will be releasing your song very soon. Will it be by next week? You might
Yeah.
want to plug it.
Yeah, check my band. It's called Bethany. You can check it on Spotify. There are a lot of Bethanies, but you'll see a rock band. There's only one rock band in the world, that's Bethany. We have two albums. We just released our newest one last year, and oh no, wait, we released our latest one 2020 last year, yeah. And we're actually releasing a music video, not a song.
Oh, really? A music video. Nice.
Yeah.
Was it
So
your first music video?
no, no. For this album, it's our second. For the
Ah.
second album, it's our second video, and I'm excited because we worked with a with a graphics designer from Singapore, and
Oh,
it's a
wow.
fun project because we can't really shoot around during the pandemic, so we decided let's make something fun, something that requires little production but still has that
Hmm.
great visual value, and we were able to tap a professional graphics guy.
Oh,
It's great.
wow.
And yeah, that's coming out around next week. So maybe, just maybe, I'll hunt this page, this video, and I'll post it on the comment section when it's
Yes,
out.
yes, please. Sure, sure. And tell me so that I can also share it to my page. And oh, Joy said that her daughter is also an army. Yes. Horahe. Finger heart and this. Okay. And also, you can follow your social, they can follow rather your social media accounts. You are known as influencer, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Influencer with three eyes.
Okay, yes.
In the middle, not in the start.
Okay, which actually soon I'll be guesting someone for influencer marketing.
Nice, nice.
That should be very interesting as well. Okay, because this is actually an educational learning Facebook Live on social media and not just about, guesting anyone. So, what do you call this? Okay, guys, do you have some questions here to our special speaker for tonight before we go? And
Looks
yeah.
like, yeah, looks like we're good.
Exactly. Let's grab the opportunity because he's actually very expensive, but he gave this tonight for free. Oh yeah, wear your
Wear
mask.
your masks.
Yes. As what I said earlier, this 2021, it's important to practice social distancing,
But not
but do
social
not
media.
distance yourself from social media because it will cost your business.
True, true.
Yeah. Okay. So I think the people don't have questions. Okay. Or probably they're too shy. Um, Allow me to just also inform everyone that as what I've mentioned earlier, I've already started my first batch of the social media management and marketing under Filipino virtual assistants. So I'm already opening my second batch. Oh, okay. Bells Juna from, if I'm not mistaken, she is from Mactan. Hello there. Happy Valentine's also. Yes. Happy Valentine's to you, to your families, to your family. Yes, so my social media, my second batch for social media is already, I'm already accepting reservations. So feel free to send me a message. Okay, and yeah, do you have any final words before we go?
Well,
Anything?
I'm just once again I thank Coach Irish for having me in her program tonight, and I also would like to encourage everybody watching this video. If you're a writer, whether you're beginning or you see yourself as a professional, just don't stop. Just don't stop learning. Like what I said, um, every article that gets published is a learning opportunity. So we only get better if you take this seriously. We can only get better.
Yes. And also, every article that gets rejected is a learning, right?
True, true, true.
You are guilty of this because you are an editor yourself.
No, I don't reject articles. I just tell them to rewrite it.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay. All right. So I think that's it. Luis, thank you so much for tonight. I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy that
Thank you
you,
guys.
what do you call this, for a very short notice, you said yes. So happy Valentine's to everyone that are watching. This will be hopefully before February ends, I will have another, what do you call this, social media live. Yes. So thank you once again, Luis, and thank you to everyone that is watching right now. Happy Valentine's, and please continue following me in FBA coach.irish. Oh, yes, we don't stop learning. That's right, Joyce. I totally agree. So,
All right.
bye for now and
Bye bye.
stay safe. Bye.